Let's start with Eleanor Whitcomb. 72 years old, lives in a small ranch house in Parma, a suburb just south of Cleveland, Ohio. She paid off that house in 2009. Her husband, Harold, was a railroad mechanic for 38 years at the Norfolk Southern Yard in Collinwood. He passed in April of 2024 from congestive heart failure. Eleanor now lives alone. Her daughter, Marcy, lives in Tucson and calls every Sunday. Marcy is the one who noticed something strange in Eleanor's mailbox in early October, a thick envelope from a Medicare plan she does not remember signing up for. The bold red letters on the front said, "Annual Notice of Change." Marcy flew home in October, sat at her mother's kitchen table, and opened it. Inside the first page, the plan Eleanor had used for 6 years had been canceled, gone, not renewed for 2026. Over 2 million Americans got that same envelope this fall. Their Medicare Advantage plan was terminated, just ended. The letter told Eleanor she had to pick a new plan by December 7th, or she would be dumped back into original Medicare with no drug coverage at all. Eleanor sat there with her reading glasses pushed up on her forehead and whispered, "But I didn't do anything wrong." That is the moment most families realize the system does not protect you. It protects its own math. And that brings us to surprise number one. Surprise number one, the Medicare Advantage wipeout of 2026. Insurance companies across the country quietly dropped plans, reduced benefits, and pulled doctors out of networks. Why? Because the government changed how it pays these plans, and the insurers could not make enough profit, so they cut counties, cut networks, and cut you. Eleanor's plan was one of them. She had been getting a dental benefit, a small vision benefit, a gym membership, and a Part B premium reduction that put $48 back in her Social Security check every month. All of it gone for 2026. Same monthly premium, same company logo on the envelope. But the inside of the plan had been gutted. And here is the part that makes me angry. They do not tell you this on TV. They do not mail you a warning. They wait until October and bury it in 53 pages of legal print so you have 60 days to figure out a new plan while you are still grieving, still healing from a hip surgery, or still caring for a husband who just left the house empty. Eleanor's story is not rare. It is the new normal. And if your mom or dad just got a letter like that, you need to act fast. Drop your state in the comments below. I want to see how many of you got hit. Now, Eleanor made a choice. Marcy helped her switch back to original Medicare, plus a real Part D drug plan and a small Medigap supplement to cover the 20% coinsurance that original Medicare leaves behind. The new monthly cost was $194. Her old Advantage plan cost her zero premium because the insurer was using that government subsidy to pad the dental benefit. So Marcy did the live math at the kitchen table. New Medigap premium, $194. New Part D premium, $46. Total $240 a month out of Social Security. That is $2,880 a year she did not have to pay before. And she lost the dental, the vision, and the gym. That is the real surprise of 2026. The hidden cost of losing your Advantage plan can be over $2,000 a year, and the government does not mail you a check to cover it. Let's slow down for a second so you understand what Medicare Advantage really is. Medicare Advantage is also called Part C. It is a private insurance plan run by companies like Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, and many smaller carriers. The government pays these companies a flat fee every month to manage your care. In theory, they are supposed to use that money to give you extra benefits like dental and vision. In practice, they keep a large slice as profit and pay your doctors less each year. So doctors quietly leave the network, so your hospital gets reassigned, so your plan shrinks without telling you until the annual notice arrives in October. Original Medicare is the government-run program, Part A for hospital and Part B for doctor visits. You add a Part D plan for prescriptions and a Medigap plan to fill the gaps. That combination costs more per month, but your freedom is huge, your network is nationwide, and nobody can cancel your plan mid-year because their profit dropped. Eleanor's new setup will keep her covered no matter what her old Advantage company does next. Surprise number two. The Part D out-of-pocket cap rose. Stop scrolling. This is the one nobody is explaining. In 2025, your maximum out-of-pocket spending on Part D prescription drugs was capped at $2,000. That was historic. It was the first real ceiling seniors had ever seen on drug costs inside Medicare. In 2026, the cap rose to $2,100. That sounds small, but here is why it matters. Drug companies also raised the prices on the 10 most expensive Medicare drugs, the ones picked for price negotiation under the Inflation Reduction Act. Eliquis, Jardiance, Xarelto, Januvia, Farxiga, Entresto, Enbrel, Imbruvica, Stelara, and Novolog. Those are the household names in every medicine cabinet from Parma to Phoenix. Even though Medicare negotiated lower prices for those 10 drugs, the money you save on one bottle of insulin might get eaten up by a higher deductible or a higher coinsurance on your blood thinner. Let me show you the pain in live numbers. Say you take Eliquis for a heart rhythm problem and Januvia for type 2 diabetes. Brand name, no generic. In 2025, you might have hit the $2,000 cap by mid-October and paid zero for the rest of the year. In 2026, the same drugs, the same doses will run you roughly $2,100 before the cap kicks in. That is $100 more out of your own pocket before the government says, okay, we will pay the rest now. And that is before you add the insulin you also need, or the Enbrel injection you pick up at the specialty pharmacy. The cap went up because the government tied it to the growth in drug prices. So the ceiling rises every year, slowly, like a tide. And you feel it in January when the pharmacy counter rings up $420 for a 30-day supply of the same pills you got for $390 last January. The other change inside Part D for 2026 is the deductible. The maximum Part D deductible is now $615, up from $590. Your plan can pick a lower deductible, but most do not. So before your coverage even starts helping, you pay $615 out of your own pocket. Then you pay 25% of the next few thousand. Then you hit the catastrophic phase and pay zero. That is the design. It helps most people. It quietly hurts the people who take 3 or 4 brand name drugs because they pay the deductible on every refill until the math crosses that $2,100 line. Let me give you Eleanor's numbers. She takes 4 prescriptions. Generic lisinopril for blood pressure, $96 a year. Generic metformin, $48 a year. Brand name Eliquis, $2,900 a year at full retail with no insurance. Brand name Farxiga, $1,900 a year at full retail. So her total retail drug bill is about $4,944 a year. She will pay the $615 deductible in January. She will pay 25% of the next several thousand. By August, she crosses the $2,100 cap. Then she pays zero. Her real out-of-pocket for 2026 will be roughly $2,100, same as last year, plus $100 more because the cap crept up. If you want me to walk through your own drug math, drop your list in the comments. I read them, I answer them. Let's talk about the surprise that is hiding inside surprise number 2, the Medicare prescription payment plan. This is the new program that lets you spread your drug costs across the year instead of paying them all up front. If you know your Eliquis is going to hit your wallet in January, you can ask your plan to smooth the payments into 12 monthly bills. Sounds nice. But here's the catch. You still owe the same total. You just owe it slower. And if you stop the program mid-year, the remaining balance comes due in one lump. So this is not a discount. This is a payment plan. For some families, it is a lifesaver because it keeps the credit card out of the picture. For other families, it is a trap because they forget about the balance, pass away mid-year, and the estate inherits the debt. I have seen widows get collection letters for a spouse's drug payment plan balance they never knew existed. If you use it, write the balance on a piece of paper and tape it inside the medicine cabinet. That is your truth. Surprise number 3, the Part B premium jump you probably have not heard about yet. Part B is the part of Medicare that covers your doctor visits, your lab work, your imaging, your chemo, your dialysis, and your ambulance rides. It is the part you pay for every month out of your Social Security check. In 2025, the standard Part B premium was $185 a month. In 2026, the standard Part B premium is $202.90. That is a jump of $17.90 a month. 12 months times $17.90 is $214.80 more per year. For a couple where both husband and wife pay Part B, that is $429.60 more per year out of their retirement income. The Part B deductible also rose to $283, up from $257. So before Medicare pays a single dollar of your doctor bills in 2026, you pay $283 out of your own pocket. Why did Part B jump so much? 3 reasons. 1. Doctors are finally charging more because inflation hit their staffing, their rent, and their malpractice insurance. 2. New expensive Alzheimer drugs like lecanemab went onto the market, and Medicare agreed to cover them under strict conditions, which raises the total spending per patient. 3. The government is paying for new advanced primary care management services, which is a great idea but costs money. So the premium rose to cover all of it. And your Social Security cost of living adjustment for 2026 is projected to be around 2.5%, which for a $2,000 average check is $50 a month. So the Part B jump eats a third of your raise before you even see it. That is the silent tax that hits every senior mailbox in January. Let me do the couple math. Harold and Eleanor would have been on Medicare together if Harold were still alive. 2 people, 2 Part B premiums. 200, 290 times 2, 400, 580 a month. Plus 2 Part D premiums, 46 times 2, 92 a month, plus 2 Medigap premiums, 194 times 2, 388 a month. Total $885.80 a month every month before a single doctor visit. That is $10,630 a year, just to keep the doors open. Add utilities, food, property tax on the Ohio ranch house, $400 a month, and you are already at $15,000 a year before any groceries or prescriptions beyond the cap. The system is not unkind to you, it is just unimpressed. It will let your savings drain down to zero 1/4 at a time and never once send you a warning letter. Now let me show you the legal moves that protect families like yours. These are not tricks. These are the proper tools the government lets you use, that most people never hear about from a financial advisor because the advisor would rather sell you an annuity. First tool, Medigap Open Enrollment. The best time to buy a Medigap plan is the 6-month window that starts the month your Part B begins. During that 6 months, an insurance company cannot turn you down, cannot charge you more because of your health, and cannot make you wait for coverage. If you try to buy a Medigap plan after that window closes, the company can reject you or charge you more based on your medical history. That is why Eleanor's daughter Marcy went to a broker who specializes in Ohio Medigap and locked in a plan within 2 weeks. If you are losing your Medicare Advantage plan because the insurer canceled it, you also get a special enrollment period for Medigap that runs 60 days from the notice. Use it. Do not wait. The insurance companies know the deadline, and they will let it slide past your kitchen calendar if you let them. Second tool, the Inflation Reduction Act drug negotiation. Those 10 drugs I mentioned earlier, Eliquis, Jardiance, Xarelto, Januvia, Farxiga, Entresto, Enbrel, Imbruvica, Stelara, and Novolog, now have new lower prices in 2026. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced the new prices in October. Eliquis dropped from about $630 a month at retail to around $350. Januvia dropped from about $570 to $330. Farxiga dropped from about $490 to $270. If your plan applies the negotiated price at the pharmacy counter, your out-of-pocket will drop too. But if your plan still charges you the old coinsurance rate, your pharmacist may have to rebill the claim. You have to call the plan and ask. Do not assume the discount is automatic. Third tool, the Extra Help Program, also called the Low Income Subsidy. If your income is below $22,000 a year for a single senior or below $30,000 for a couple, the government will pay your Part D premium, lower your copays to $4.50 for generics, and waive the deductible. Over 3 million seniors qualify and never apply because they think the program is welfare. It is not. It is a Medicare benefit. The application is 4 pages and takes 20 minutes at ssa.gov. Apply. If you get denied, apply again next year. Income limits change every year. Fourth tool, state pharmaceutical assistance programs. Ohio has a program for seniors with high drug costs. So does New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and most other states. These programs sit on top of Part D and pay some of your copays. They are not advertised on TV. You find them by calling your state Department of Aging or visiting eldercare.gov. If your state has one and you do not use it, you are leaving free money on the table. Fifth tool, the Medicare Savings Program. If your income is low enough, the state will pay your Part B premium for you. For a single senior at roughly $15,000 a year, the state sends the $200 and $290 premium directly to Medicare and keeps that money in your Social Security check. For a couple at roughly $21,000, same thing. That is $2,434 a year for a single senior, $4,868 for a couple. Nobody is mailing you a flyer to remind you to apply. You have to pick up the phone. Now let me tell you what happens if a senior waits too long and does nothing. Suppose your dad sits in his easy chair in Parma, ignores the letter from the insurance company, ignores the new plan options, and lets December 7th pass. On January 1st, he is dumped back into original Medicare with no Part D. He takes his Eliquis to the pharmacy, and the clerk charges full price because he has no drug coverage. $630 for a 30-day supply. One refill turns into a credit card swipe, then the next refill. 3 months later, he owes $2,000 on a card that charges 28% interest. Then the denial letters start arriving because no Part D plan means no catastrophic coverage. By spring, he is in the donut hole of his own finances. By summer, the family is raiding the savings account his wife left him. That is what waiting looks like. That is why I keep asking you to drop your state in the comments. Because the clock is ticking in every one of those states. Let me give you the tonight action plan. Step 1. Open the mailbox. Pull out every letter from Medicare, Social Security, or your Medicare Advantage plan. If the letter says annual notice of change or plan termination, set it on the kitchen table tonight. Step 2. Call your state health insurance assistance program, also known as SHIP. Every state has one. The number is free. The counseling is free. The counselor will walk through your letter line by line. In Ohio, the number is 800-866-6863. Other states are easy to find at shiphelp.org. Step 3. Compare Medigap plans. If you are losing your Advantage plan, do not just pick another Advantage plan. Run the math on original Medicare with a Medigap supplement. It is almost always better when your doctors are spread across 2 or 3 health systems. Step 4. List your drugs. Write each name, each dose, each pharmacy. Bring that list to your ship counselor or your broker. Step 5. Ask about the Medicare prescription payment plan if your January drug bill will be brutal. Use it carefully. Step 6. Apply for extra help in your state pharmaceutical assistance program if your income is near the limit. Step 7. Set a reminder on your phone for October 15th through December 7th, the open enrollment window. You do this once a year. It is 2 hours. It can save you $4,000. Do not be afraid of this. Be angry about it. Be organized about it. The system is heavy, but it is not smarter than you. It counts on you being tired, being confused, and being alone. When you are organized, when you bring your daughter into the kitchen, when you write your drug list on the back of an envelope, you beat it. Let me close with Eleanor. November 9th, Parma, Ohio. The kitchen smells like coffee and the furnace is clanking. Marcy is on speakerphone with the ship counselor. They are filling out the application for extra help because Eleanor's railroad survivor benefit from Harold puts her just barely under the income limit. They are picking a new Part D plan that places Eliquis on the lowest formulary tier. They are signing up for a Medigap Plan G that costs $178 a month instead of $194 because Marcy found a different carrier with the same coverage. Eleanor's new monthly Medicare bill will be $277. Her old plan was 0 premium, but $4,000 in lost benefits and a canceled network she never saw coming. The new plan costs more on paper and less in her body. Marcy feels the relief land on her shoulders like a coat she had been carrying in her arms for 2 months. Eleanor says, "I wish Harold could have seen this." And Marcy says, "He did, through us." That is what this channel is. It is the voice Harold would have wanted in the room when the envelope arrived. If this helped you, send this video to one person in your family tonight. Send it to the daughter who handles the bills. Send it to the brother who thinks Medicare is fine because he has not opened an envelope yet. Send it to the aunt who still believes the Advantage plan is free. Send it because the deadline is real, and the trap is real, and the only way out is faster than the letter. Drop your state in the comments. Tell me what letter arrived in your mailbox this October. Tell me what drug you take that costs the most. Tell me the age of the senior in your life who needs to hear this. I read every comment and I answer the ones I can. Subscribe to this channel and ring that bell. The next video is going to expose the Social Security change hiding inside the 2026 cost of living adjustment that nobody on cable news is talking about yet. It is going to shock you. You do not want to miss it. Until then, stay organized, stay angry in the right way, and protect your family like Eleanor just did. I'll see you next time.